And we're back after a brief break. You're joining us on South Texas Crossfire right here on KTMV. Bienvenidos a todos que vienen de San Patricio, el condado de San Patricio también, because now we've got San Patricio now, all the way to Aransas, and also our good friends in Sinton, Taft, and here in Corpus Christi and Robstown. So we are growing, and we're looking at going towards Alice, Freer, and Fowle to bring out the message.
Texas wide pretty soon.
Well, Texas wide, you know. Watch it when you say wide with me. You're always hitting me up. I know. I've been trying to walk. And you brought tacos for everybody else. I told you, no, don't do it. Suicide by taco. But anyway, we're talking about Destination Bayfront, and I give you, once again, Chad MaGill. But this time you're changing your hat from humanitarian and everything else, and I still say you're a humanitarian right now, as our city council guy and my rep for my barrio there of Morningside. And, of course, Commissioner Joey Gonzalez, your commissioner 24/7. Let's talk a little bit about Destination Bayfront and where it didn't pass. I mean, 2/3 of the voters said no. Why is that?
Well, I think...
I'll start out with you, Commissioner.
I think, for one, you know, and I know probably everybody that voted against it, probably in their mind, they know that we need something like this in Corpus. And I know that I would like to see something like this in Corpus. And,
Absolutely.
And I don't think we should just scrap it and say we've thrown it away and never see it again. I think we should see it again sometime down the road. You know, hope not next year, but we should. But I think that everything that's happening, I think the timing was wrong. You know, I think there was too many things. We were pushing too much stuff on the community, on the people, on the street fees, and you know, electricity going up, and then the streets weren't being fixed, and it was too much. It was too much going on those and that issues, and then you're going to tell them we're going to spend all this money, you know, and doing the park, and then all of a sudden, you know, we got to do another. What was it? First it was one prize, then it was a second higher prize. You know, I said, wait a minute, where's all this money? Then who's going to take care of the maintenance? You know, and there's a lot of parks out there
that aren't even maintained right now.
They need maintenance. Right. You know, there's some parks out there that don't have equipment that's been so old that the equipment probably is not safe. You know, that we need to replace some equipment in some of those parks. And then when they say we're going to raise $15 million to maintain this big park, I said,
okay,
wow.
so at sticker shock. Chad, what were your views on it? I know that you were, you're in favor, as the commissioner is, of having something like this down the road, but what's your view on it? Why didn't it pass?
I think the commissioner's right on the money when he says that it wasn't the right time, and the tolerance of the taxpayer is at its maximum. People are seeing utility rates go up, gas, water, wastewater went up, street fee hits in January, taxes from CCISD went up, the tax rate from the city went up, which was voter approved, but it still went up. And then so you start looking at these tax rates going up, and really it ultimately comes out of the same person's pocket. And when people are asked to pay for something that is a want and not a need, I think I'm proud of our people that turned out to vote, that took the time to make their voice heard. And Nueces County led the state in terms of turnout for this election per capita. I think it's a great and very proud moment. We should all applaud each other for doing that. But I think contrary to the editorials in the Caller Times, the people have spoken. It's a very clear message. People want infrastructure. I block walked 17,000 houses during my race, and it's a very powerful thing when you look at someone and ask for their vote, and they tell you, eye to eye, look down my sidewalk, fix my street that's in front of me, fix the sidewalk so my kids can ride their bicycle safely. I'm not asking you to do anything spectacular. Just do well with what you're supposed to be doing. That message, I think, was conveyed by the people, and I agree with the commissioner. He's right. The park would be a beautiful thing. I think we can build it incrementally over time with the funds available without having to raise taxes, without incurring further debt. And I'm going to push very hard, and people know because I sent a letter to the editor. I've already sent messages to the city manager. We're going to start on Sherrill Park. If I have my way, we start on Sherrill Park with the funds available already from the 2008 Bond Shoreline Realignment Program, which is $4.9 million. With that 4.9, we can build Sherrill Park as it is designed in Destination Bayfront Phase 1, which was only $1.8 million. We'll have to cost it properly because there might be some changes in cost because you're only doing a small part at a time. But I think it's the right thing to do, starting with Sherrill Park, and we build it as we can pay for it without having to raise the taxes and burden the people further.
Well, I'm going to address this, Commissioner, to you first, this question. Why is it, and many people have asked me, that a lot of these people, the builders, what the perception is that I've heard from many voters, and then I'll address your response on this, is that they say, okay, they want to build something, the builders are going to benefit, the contractors, but it's always the same guys. That's the perception out there, and that they don't, it's not like the old days when you used your own money, you took your own risks, you were a businessman. If you lost, you lost. And if a banker said no to you, no. They raised this in a bond issue, and it's like if we have a bad construction or it didn't work, we made our money, and maybe we had cost overruns. What's your response to the voter that perceives this as the same old pockets, and then they try to make the voter feel bad by saying, see, nobody wants Corpus to grow. We do want Corpus to grow. We just don't want to grow the pockets of builders.
You know, and we do want Corpus to grow. There's no doubt about that. Or else we wouldn't be having Schlitterbahn right now either. You know, and
Out at the island.
At the island. So I think that people, you know, to me, if we don't have the money to spend right now on the needs, we don't have the money to spend it on a park. You know, I think if there's investors out there that really want this to happen, that should come forward and say, you know what, we're going to invest on this, and we're going to build half of it at our expense.
That's right. They have a stake in it.
And then the revenues comes, and certain revenues comes to the city, so we make money. You know, it's not. And some people say, well, you can't sell them that land because it's prime land, or you can't. Well, maybe you don't have to sell them land. You can lease the land. I mean, you know, you don't have to sell them the land. You know, and we have that waterfront, the T heads, the L heads. You know that. You know, look at some of the other areas too, where they really built on their waterfronts. You know, where, you know, they got restaurants and they got all these things. You know.
Yeah, if you want a Kima, they need to pay half. The builders need to write a check, and those involved, and not just put it on the taxpayer and our grandchildren.
And I think Chet said a real good thing right now about, and I'm glad I'm hearing that Sherrill Park is still in the picture and the vision, because when they started talking about veterans, that the park was going to be good for everyone, I don't see how it would be good for veterans. It would be a park, you know. But I think Sherrill Park is the ideal park for veterans, because we already use it. That is the Veterans Park. That we have all the ceremonies there. We do every ceremony is there, and that park should be built for ceremonies for veterans, in memory of veterans. Should have a monument there. We should have the Iwo Jima there. We should all these things. You know, that park should be the dedicated park that takes over the Memorial Coliseum, where we can have all these ceremonies. You know, and for veterans. And I'm glad to hear that's not been thrown aside. You know, and that, because I think by doing that, Shed, I think that the people will really support it. I think that we'll get behind the issues of trying to build that Sherrill Park the way it's supposed to be. A long time ago, you know, we're overdue.
Long time. Chad, what's your on the same question? The perception out there, not necessarily reality. I mean, I know that there are a lot of builders who do a lot of selflessness and help out the community. But there was that perception out there, same guys lining their same pockets, same bankers, same this and that. I think the voter has become disenchanted, disillusioned with health care, with insurance, with banks. What's your response to that voter perception, that two-third perception?
I would agree with the people in saying that the perception going from last summer of 2012, when it was majority privately funded, as it was pitched, shifting to going for $44.6 million of public money, no matter what the intentions are, the people looked at it very clearly and said, why are you wanting to spend our money now? And that leads to deductive reasoning, putting in a position where, wait a second, now who's making money off of this, and who's making money off of our public tax dollars? And so it takes you down a path of asking, okay, is it a crime to make a profit? No. But is it a crime to tell half-truths? Yes. And so it puts us in a position where you start asking, okay, if we're going to spend this public money on it, then it puts us in a position where that reduces our bonding capacity to fix residential roads. That's by and large the largest untalked about portion of streets. When people talk about the street fee helping, I'll give you our district, District 2. 88% of all streets in our district will not see a benefit from the street maintenance fee.
That's incredible, and these people have worked they're veterans there.
Right.
I live next door to no offense, aging veterans, but they're
Thank you.
great guys. But they've served their country, and they have to deal with torn up sidewalks.
Right.
They're on Morningside, one of the most beautiful neighborhoods, historical neighborhoods.
Chenoweth was a nice street
Chenoweth.
until it got torn up because Catherine, right next to it, got fixed. And so the trucks that were going down Chenoweth tore that street up. That Chenoweth is an 11 on the pavement condition index, meaning 0 to 100 scale. There is no funding plan for Chenoweth or streets similar. My own street is a 13. I talked to a lady, Jill Greenwald, who lives on Ralston. Her daughter is in a wheelchair and has gone through cancer treatments. They can't get to their van to take her daughter to school and to her doctor's appointments without having to park on the sidewalk, which she's now getting tickets to park on the sidewalk.
It's just unbelievable what the city leadership is. It needs to change. All these things that you're bringing up.
These are real stories that affect the people every single day. And I brought this up in council. I'll get back to your question. I'm sorry, but
no, that's fine.
I believe in this. I asked them. I said, look, if you're going to spend $44.6 million of public money and probably a lot more. I know they had identified $12.4 million of other funds.
Does cost overrun have a hyphen?
Don't get me started on American Bank Center from $35 million to $52.9. But
Whataburger Field.
I asked them this. I said, okay, so if the average citizen goes to Destination Bayfront, 4 times a month, right? Once a weekend, that's about 50 times a year, 48 times a year, okay? How many times does that person go on their own residential street? Once, twice, 3 times a day? If we're going to impact and improve the quality of life for every citizen, why not impact them at their front door? Let's do what we should be doing, what we should have been doing the whole time, and stop giving people excuses. Let's give them the truth, and let's fix our residential streets.
Very well said. We got a couple of minutes before break. But,
and also what really blew me out of my mind, Chad, and we talked about this in a meeting, is that when they said, well, we're going to take care of the maintenance. We're going to take care of the maintenance. Not the investors, but we are. And then we're going to raise $15 million. I said, whoa, wait a minute, another $15 million to raise? You can't raise $15 million, I guarantee you, in 3-4 years.
Closing arguments on this?
Of that $15 million, great point. They changed the definition of raise. That grew more concerned. They integrated hotel motel taxes as possible to put within. So public money and a private endowment. I want to build Destination Bayfront incrementally, as we can afford to, without raising taxes, without incurring further debt. Let's build it as the community can afford to, and it'll be something we can be proud of. I think there's some cultural heritage we can embrace by designing it a little bit more close to the South Texas feel. And this community, I believe, with this vote, has united and now understands that every single vote makes a difference, because we sent a clear message to City Council: infrastructure first.
Commissioner,
in the senior, we met with about 80 seniors about 3 times, and I tell you what, out of those 80 seniors, I guarantee you, about 79 did not want to vote for it. They were, it's just one complaint after another. When seniors are complaining and you send citations to seniors because they cannot cut the grass or because they can't, clean their lawns, and that's, to me, that's serious.
Environmental court is just messed up. I personally experienced it, and they need to. It's like they're targeting the senior. It's because they can't mow their lawn anymore. They need to get it out there and have a lawn mowing program like you used to have.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And now their sidewalks. This heartbreaking story that Chad said about the wheelchair is just one of many in this city. So we've got to go, but I want to thank each and every one of you guys for showing up all the time and being devoted to this community. Chad,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing us to be here, and thank you very much.
Can you hang on here because not just because you brought taquitos, okay? But just for a few moments.
Sure.
But I know you've got to run to Big Brothers Big
Sisters.
And again, that's happening December 5th. At the Radisson. Rick Patel, great humanitarian, great community leader.
Rick Patel is a super guy.
Phenomenal.
Super guy.
Rick Patel, I always say that's the Indian John Smith, like Garcia. Yeah. So you can easy name to remember.
Yeah.
He should make his own website, Patel.com.
He's very high in education and very high on
Thank
Big
you.
Brother, Big Sister.
Rick
so.
Patel Radisson. There, I gave you a plug. There you go. All right, we're going to be back after these messages. Hi, this is attorney and board certified nurse practitioner Joe Flores on behalf of Vasquez Flores Home Health. Nursing homes have their place, but having care in your own home is very important. Call today for more information. Backed by over 20 years of experience, registered nurse Priscilla Vasquez can answer your questions about home care. Call 881-9922. That's 881-9922 today.
Have you or a loved one suffered a stroke, heart attack, unexplained low blood pressure, or death during dialysis? The FDA has issued warnings and recalled the product GranuFlo and Naturalite used in dialysis. At least one national company failed to warn the public that over 900 people had suffered cardiac arrest or death. A condition called metabolic alkalosis developed, which may have caused the harm. Call the law offices of Joe Flores today. With a combined 25 years of experience in the medical field and as a trial lawyer, Joe Flores can help. Call now. Have you been arrested or are potentially facing criminal charges? You need a trial attorney who is well-versed in the courtroom. Joe Flores has handled hundreds of criminal cases and many of them to trial. Joe Flores can provide you with competent representation to protect your constitutional rights in state and federal court. Joe Flores can help if you have been arrested or facing criminal charges. The law offices of Joe Flores. Equal justice for all.